Have you ever found yourself crossing an old bridge at night and suddenly felt like you weren't alone? Maybe you brushed it off as imagination, or maybe you've wondered if something else, something unseen, was there with you. Across the world, people share remarkably similar experiences on bridges. Shadowy figures lurking just out of sight, whispers carried by the wind, unexplained chills, or sudden sensations of dread. Could all these stories really be coincidence? Reddit, with its endless threads of first-hand accounts, offers us a gateway into this mysterious phenomenon. Users frequently describe encounters so strikingly similar that they almost seem connected. But what if they're more than just isolated stories? What if all these bridge hauntings are pieces of a bigger puzzle, hinting at something hidden beneath the surface? In this exploration, we'll venture deep into these eerie Reddit experiences, looking closely at the common threads that weave them together. Could there be a deeper, unknown link between these seemingly unrelated encounters? Are bridges simply structures connecting physical spaces? Or do they also bridge the gap between our world and something we have yet to understand? Together, let's step onto this path, exploring whether the haunted bridges of our collective imagination are more than just urban legends, and if perhaps we're glimpsing something much larger and far more mysterious. Old Alton Bridge. Located in Denton, Texas, built in 1884. A black goat farmer named Oscar Washburn was allegedly lynched here, but when the mob looked over the bridge, his body was gone. Since then, sightings of a half-man, half-goat figure roaming the woods have never stopped. What if Oscar didn't die? At least not in the way we think. Some speculate that the trauma of the event cracked open a rift in the area, creating a thin spot between our world and something else. Others wonder if the Goatman isn't Oscar's spirit at all, but a guardian entity, summoned by pain and injustice, now stuck here with unfinished business. Could the Goatman be more than just a ghost? A tulpa? A collective manifestation of trauma and fear shaped by decades of storytelling? Spook Bridge. Located in Valdosta, Georgia, built in the early 1900s, a decaying concrete bridge where people claim to hear screams, feel watched, and witness shadowy figures. Rumors swirl about suicides, drownings, and rituals. Is this place haunted because of past events? Or has something always been there, attracting tragedy to it? Some Redditors mention animal remains and strange symbols under the bridge. What if the bridge wasn't cursed by accidents, but by intent, ritualistic or otherwise? Is it possible the bridge is a spiritual trap, feeding off fear and drawing in those curious or vulnerable enough to come near? Avon Railroad Bridge. Located in Avon, Indiana, built in 1906, a worker entombed in cement, a mother and baby falling from the tracks. Now people hear screams, feel icy spots, and swear they're being watched. There's something especially horrifying about being buried alive, your energy literally built into a structure. Could the bridge be holding residual emotional energy, like psychic concrete, forever replaying that panic and despair? Others speculate it's a classic example of a recording haunting, where the trauma doesn't need a ghost, it just keeps looping in the environment like a stuck tape. Emily's Bridge. Located in Stowe, Vermont. Built in 1844, jilted bride Emily took her life on this quaint wooden bridge. Visitors report scratching on cars, disembodied whispers, and feelings of intense sorrow. Was Emily even real? The town has no solid historical records, but that hasn't stopped the experiences. Some speculate Emily is a thought form, created and sustained by belief. The more people visit the bridge looking for Emily, the more energy the legend absorbs. What if Emily didn't exist until we gave her form? Bunnyman Bridge. Located in Clifton, Virginia, built in the early 20th century, a man in a bunny suit with an axe. Laughable, right? Except people still report hearing strange laughs and footsteps when no one's there. Could this legend have been seeded by something mimicking absurdity to mask its presence? There's a theory that some entities feed off disbelief, appearing as ridiculous or cartoonish just to be dismissed. What if the Bunnyman isn't a ghost, but a trickster entity, luring people with the promise of a joke and delivering something much darker. Dog Suicide Bridge. Located in Dumbarton, Scotland. Built in the late 1800s. Dogs leap to their deaths here, supposedly guided by an otherworldly force. Stray canines are said to dash into the river or off the bridge inexplicably. Is it a scent-driven phenomenon, as scientists suggest? Or is something more sinister at work? Locals report strange sensations and eerie vibes around the area. What if animals, more attuned to the supernatural, are reacting to something we can't see? Something that drives them to jump? Devil's Bridge. Located in Ardino, Bulgaria. Built in the 16th century. Part of a broader Devil's Bridge folklore where the devil helps build the bridge in exchange for a soul, but gets tricked. Locals say you might glimpse the devil's visage etched into the stones, and it's rumored your reflection may show something other than your own face. Devil's Bridge. Located in Ceredigion, Wales. Built in the 12th century. 3 bridges stacked high. Legend says the devil built the original in exchange for a soul. A clever local tricked him by sending a dog across first. The devil then maliciously loosens stones each night. Legend says he's still at it. Why so many devil's bridges? Could it be that ancient builders sensed something wrong with these locations, bad energy, strange happenings, and assigned that darkness to the devil as a way of rationalizing it? Or maybe these are places where the veil between dimensions is thinner, and the devil is just a placeholder for whatever was watching from the other side. Mangui Q. Located in Tai Po Khao, Hong Kong. Built in the mid-1900s. After a deadly flood took the lives of students and teachers, their spirits are said to linger. People report hearing crying at night and seeing faint figures near the water. Could this be a case of group trauma echoing through time? Some believe traumatic events leave a psychic scar, one that can be sensed by sensitive people or even replayed in full. Another theory: if water is a conductor for spiritual energy, as many cultures believe, then this bridge, soaked in tragedy, might be amplifying residual grief like a spiritual speaker. Jakni Band Bridge. Located in Goa, India, built sometime before 1979. A bus full of children plummeted off the side during a storm. Today, people hear laughter, footsteps, and even see phantom children on the road. There's a terrifying idea among paranormal researchers that child spirits aren't always what they seem. Some suggest that darker entities mimic children to gain sympathy or access. Could these innocent-sounding hauntings be something else entirely? Now that we've explored the history, legends, and deeper meanings behind these haunted bridges, from mythological gateways to possible spiritual hotspots, it's time to hear directly from the people who've been there. These aren't just campfire tales or secondhand rumors. These are first-hand accounts, shared by real people on Reddit who've crossed these bridges and felt something they can't quite explain. So let's lean in and listen to what they had to say. Their stories might start with curiosity, but most of them end with something else entirely: fear, awe, or the feeling that they brought something back with them. Here are some of the most chilling encounters, straight from Reddit. Posted on r/nosleep. Goatman's Bridge. While we were there, the group of ghost hunters decided to show us just how serious it all was. They grabbed a flashlight and placed it in the spot where Oscar Washburn was lynched, and asked if he could show us all his presence by turning off the flashlight. To my amazement, the flashlight turned off. I was watching intently as the light started getting dimmer and dimmer, until there was nothing but darkness. To me, the scariest part was when he was asked if he was angry at the people who had murdered him, and if he thought they should be brought to justice. Without hesitation, the flashlight came back on and seemed to be brighter than before. Posted on r/unresolved mysteries, the mystery of Spook Bridge. Another legend says a high school couple was driving over the bridge when they crashed through the railing and into the river. A similar legend says a school bus full of children ran off the bridge. Posted on r/Indiana. The Avon Haunted Bridge. Lived like 2 minutes from this bridge for several years. I had no idea it was haunted. Thanks for sharing. I remember visiting my grandpa in Brownsburg as a kid, and he took me out to the bridge since I liked trains, and it scared the hell out of me. Posted on r/Vermont, Emily's Bridge. This is in my hometown, Stowe, and I used to drive over it pretty often growing up. It was still scary each time. Been here once. Only weird thing was my camera died on fresh batteries after 2 pictures, and we saw a dog, and a weird bump when we drove over it. Posted on r/Urban Myths. The Bunny Man Bridge by my house. Hey, I have driven this way towards my friend's house when I lived over there. Scary as shut at night. Didn't bother stopping or turning off any lights. Just wanted to get the F out of there. Yeah, it has a really creepy vibe there. I feel sorry for the people in the mansion at the end of the road that have to drive under it every day. On a funny note, in the small town by there, the general store sells t-shirts that says, "The Bunny Man Lives." For those who don't know about the background, apparently you drive under the bridge at night and turn off your lights. Once you turn them back on, Bunny Man appears. Posted on r/interesting as fuck. There's a bridge in Scotland called the Overtune Bridge. They think it's because of the strong mink smell that agitates the dogs. Also, they say it looks like even ground, even though it's a 50-foot drop-off. Unfortunate and careless dog owners who lose their companions on the bridge will, according to the poem, reunite with their deceased pets. According to this heartwarming verse, loved pets who have passed await their owners in a utopian limbo where they frolic carefree. They forgive their human loved ones for permitting them to run freely despite the danger to dogs. Posted on r/infrastructure porn. Devil's Bridge, Bulgaria. The reason some locals are hesitant to cross at night is rooted in dark lore. One story is that the head builder's wife passed away during construction, so her shadow was encased in the structure. Another tale has it that the devil's footprint can be found somewhere on the rocks. While this is all folkloric myth, its towering form does make for a somewhat unsettling vista in the darkness. Posted on r/interesting as fuck. The Devil's Bridge in Ceredigion. The legend goes that an old lady lost her cow across the river. The devil appeared to her and said he would build her a bridge if he could claim the first soul that crossed the bridge, and the old lady agreed. When the bridge was done, she threw a loaf of bread across the bridge, and her dog ran after it. The devil realized the dog's soul was no use to him, and the old lady had tricked him. He was so embarrassed he left, and was never seen in Wales again. There's a fascinating theory floating around that the reason so many bridges are haunted isn't just because of tragic accidents or local legends. It may actually be tied to ancient mythology and religion. Across different cultures and religions, bridges are often seen as gateways between worlds, a place where the living might accidentally brush up against the dead. It's not just a road from point A to point B. In mythology, a bridge can be a spiritual threshold. Let's break this down with some examples. The Bifrost, Norse mythology. In Norse legends, the Bifrost is a burning rainbow bridge that connects Midgard, Earth, to Asgard, the realm of the gods. It's literally the path between the mortal and divine realms. Theory. When people feel like bridges are liminal spaces, maybe that's because deep in our cultural memory, bridges have always been places where humans and the supernatural meet. The Chinvat Bridge, Zoroastrianism. In ancient Persian belief, the Chinvat Bridge is what souls must cross after death. If you lived a good life, the bridge widens and you pass safely. If you were evil, the bridge narrows and you fall into the abyss. Theory. Some haunted bridges, like Emily's Bridge or Suicide Bridge, are strongly tied to death, grief, and moral judgment. Could it be that people instinctively feel these places as judgment zones? Like a checkpoint between life and whatever comes next? The Bridge of Sighs, Catholicism. This famous Venetian bridge got its name because prisoners would cross it and sigh at their last glimpse of freedom before facing execution or prison. People believed that once you crossed, you were spiritually marked. Theory. We see this in Suicide Bridge in Pasadena, California, where many believe that the bridge somehow pulls people in. It's almost like the bridge is more than a place. It becomes a decision point between life and death. The Rakottsbrücke, Devil's Bridge, Germany. Built in the 19th century, the Rakottsbrücke is one of many so-called Devil's Bridges in Europe. These bridges were often so dangerous to build that locals would say the devil himself helped construct them, usually in exchange for a soul. Theory. The Devil's Bridge stories seem to pop up worldwide, from Bulgaria to Wales, hinting that bridges aren't just practical, they're spiritually risky. Maybe the idea of bartering with something beyond is deeply wired into our fear of bridges. Buddhist river crossings. In Buddhist teachings, rivers and bridges often symbolize moving from ignorance to enlightenment. Theory. Some Asian haunted bridges, like Mang Gui Q in Hong Kong, are connected to real-life tragedies, a deadly flood in 1955, but carry spiritual weight too. Many believe the spirits remain trapped, unable to cross over completely. Maybe the reason so many bridges are haunted is that we've always believed they were. From the Bifrost to Devil's Bridges, bridges are ancient markers of transition, and transitions are where the veil thins. When people report hearing whispers, seeing shadowy figures, or feeling like something's waiting for them on the other side of the bridge, maybe it's not just the story scaring them. Maybe they're tapping into something universal, something buried deep in our collective memory. If enough people believe a bridge is haunted, does that belief shape reality? Or are we simply tuning in to something that's been there all along? Would you cross that bridge now? And if you do, what would cross with you?